Trump is doing his COVID press conferences once again. And look, he started off the week with acknowledging that things are going to get worse before they get better, and more information is rolling in, much of it not very good. So he is presenting information on a daily basis to us because I guess his doctors are busy or barred from taking part. So anyway, we've got him presenting the geographic distribution of COVID here.
Of the map, and this is, you have it right behind me. That's really very much indicating where the problems are. You see from that, it's in great shape, lots of it. The Northeast has become very clean. The country is in very good shape, other than if you look south and west, some problems. That'll all work out. On therapies.
So maybe not a huge difference in tone. Like, you look at that map, which is definitely showing where it is, and it looks good. Looks great to me.
So I'm a producer, not to brag, but I'm a producer, and as a producer, I put together materials for other people to produce or to present a lot of the time. And sometimes it's very clear that they did not, and this isn't here as much, but sometimes it's very clear that they did not look at it until that moment. They didn't have time. John would never do it. Anna would never do it. But I've done it in previous jobs where you're like, here's the thing. And then they get it. And then it's very obvious they did not even glance at it.
No.
But they think they're so damn smart that they can make their way through it. And then they're just like,
well, this now sounds like it's actually an attack against possibly me.
It doesn't come to mind any particular time you do it. You're probably right.
You're probably right. Yeah, no, he sort of worked out what it was, that it was sort of county by county, I believe, a sort of the distribution of how hot a particular area is. But the thing is that he goes into it with a very sort of trademark issue with dealing with maps that the right has. And you see this a lot, generally around elections, because the vote distribution by county map will go around after every election, and you'll look at it and you'll say, oh my God, that's a lot of red. Whether the Republicans win or whether they lose, that's a lot of red. What does that mean? Why is it so much? That's because states that have virtually no one in them, that are empty fields with some farmers, perhaps a little town, will take up a lot of space on the map. And that's what you're seeing in that map. There's a lot of space in the middle of the country that looks pretty good because we're not testing gophers for coronavirus. We're testing people, which live in cities, which are generally not in the very center of the country. There are some, and you saw some of that there. But the places where there are a lot of people, those are the areas that are hard hit.
It's so wildly amazing. Also, so he mentions the Northeast is pretty clean. There are cities there too. They just have handled it by now. The by now part is very important. And it's interesting because along the way, as like yesterday, there was a report about Steve Mnuchin having this hilarious negotiation session with Mnuchin, Trump, and the Republican-held Senate. And in it, they were going to battle over the future of their aid package. And during that, what came out of that was Mnuchin saying that the Trump administration is not going to reward poorly managed states with aid. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is an attack on democratically run states, saying that they have managed it poorly. What you just saw behind Trump in that giant map is that it's actually the Republican-held states that have been managed extremely poorly, but there is no way in hell that they're going to cut aid to those states because none of this has ever been about keeping people alive.
Exactly.
People don't, and I don't think that Trump supporters even really believe that he's good at solving stuff and doing things. They like him because he tries to win things. Mm-hmm. And the only thing he's trying to win is not the battle against coronavirus. He's trying to win the 2020 election. And you need to reverse filter all of the BS out when you're interpreting what he says on those press conferences.
Yes, I agree. And I'm glad that you laid out that obviously there are cities up and down the East Coast, and some of those were the hardest hit and then took it seriously. The issue was that a month and a half into that process, some states decided, we've been okay so far. We don't have to take this seriously. And they began to reopen very early. And we, at the time, if you're watching this, am I lying when I say we said that was a bad idea? And where are the new hotspots? It's stretching from Arizona through Texas to Georgia and Florida, the states that were so quick to open up. Now, those are not the only ones. California is pretty hard hit too, for probably a combination of different reasons. Part of it might be that we seem to have, stretching through Huntington Beach and Manhattan Beach, no offense, and all of that there's a lot of people that don't take this seriously. But It's complicated, and there are a lot of people in California. But a lot of these states that thought, we're fine, with DeSantis sort of mocking other governors, saying, oh, you said it was going to hit Florida, but it didn't. How's that looking now? It's not looking good, whether you see it on a map or you actually look at the numbers.
Yeah, a lot of the... Yeah. Also, I'm going to get so into this, but essentially, Huntington Beach is much further south.
It is.
It's down into the Orange County situation.
Orange County, which is the worst area for being responsible.
Where
San
most
Diego,
of the Karens are, outside of Trader Joe's.
Yeah, it's the biggest diaspora of Karens worldwide. Okay, but I also want to give you numbers. So
it's known as the diaspora.
Nice.
It's the diaspora.
Dun-dun-dun. Okay, so states reported more than 70,000 cases for the fourth time ever. This is yesterday. Hospitalizations are near their all-time high, bearing in mind that is with the fact that a lot of hospitalization data isn't being reported and collected by groups like the COVID Tracking Project because of the changes that were instituted 2 weeks ago. Even with that, they're at their all-time high, and more than 1,000 deaths were reported for the third day in a row after nearly 2 months below 1,000. We are back up above that number. Those are the numbers. I mean, you can bring out a big map and sort of make it look like a lot of the country is doing okay, and thankfully some states have not been super hard hit just yet. But people are dying at big rates, at rates similar to the early part of this pandemic, and that, I think, is what we should be focusing on if we want to stop it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.